Hi, little bears. We're back for part two. Oh my word, what do you think is happening? It's so spooky. Something's clearly going on with Dr. Jekyll. Seems like a nice guy, but something's going on here. I think that old Utterson is going to get to the bottom of it. Let's carry on. Chapter 6. Everyone ready? Okay, here we go. Chapter 6 is called A Face at the Window. Time ran on and the hunt for Edward Hyde continued all over London. I'm just going to bring that closer. Thousands of pounds were offered in reward, but he had no family and no photographs of him had ever been taken. Those who had seen his face found that they couldn't really describe him, other than to agree that he was a most detestable looking man. As the weeks passed, Utterson thought less and less of Hyde, and more of Henry, who had become a new man. The doctor invited Utterson and Lanyon for tea, and the three friends talked and laughed about old times. It was as if a dark cloud had been lifted from him. Can you see them all there? Having a nice time? Then, 2 months later, the cloud returned. It was a crisp January evening, and Utterson was on one of his walks through the city. He decided to pay Henry a visit. But when he reached the doctor's house, Poole wouldn't let him in. "My master is confined to the house today," the butler said. "Is he sick?" Utterson asked. "Sir," Poole said, his face darkening, "I cannot say what is wrong with him." Worried, Utterson marched around to the back of the house. He called to the laboratory window, "Henry, are you unwell?" A curtain rustled in the breeze. Moments later, Henry Jekyll appeared at the window. He looked like a prisoner in a dungeon, with pale skin and sunken eyes. "I am very low, Utterson," he said dreamily. "You stay indoors too much," Utterson said. "Get your hat and come out for a walk." Jekyll smiled sadly. "You are a good friend, Utterson," he said, "but I am afraid we can never meet again. From now on, I intend to remain inside my house." "My dear chap, whatever for?" said Utterson. "I have brought upon myself a punishment I cannot name. Ask Lanyon, he will tell you." Before Utterson could reply, Jekyll gave a terrific cry. He gritted his teeth and bent over, as if fighting some terrible pain. But the pain was too much. The doctor collapsed back, clutching his stomach and crying out again. Utterson heard a table crash over and glass smash. Then, suddenly, the window slammed shut. "Henry?" Utterson whispered. "What has become of you?" He rushed to Lanyon's house, but there, too, he found his friend unwell. Lanyon lay in bed, the blanket pulled up to his chin. Each time a door creaked or a window rattled in the wind, the doctor's eyes darted round the room. It seemed as if the man's nerves had been shattered. "I have had a shock, Utterson," he said in a trembling voice, from which I fear I shall never recover. Henry is ill too, Utterson said. Have you seen him? A terrified whimper escaped Lanyon's lips. He sank deeper under the covers. I wish to hear no more of Dr. Jekyll, he said, spitting the name like poison. But Lanyon, Utterson protested, we are 3 old friends. I fear that Henry needs our help. Pause. I've got a water now. It's fizzy. Lanyon gave a hollow laugh, which turned into a hacking cough. Sit down, Utterson, he said, and I will tell you a story about our friend Henry Jekyll and the help that I have already given him. Utterson drew a chair closer as hasty Lanyon began his tale. Chapter 7, Dr. Lanyon's Tale. 4 days ago, Lanyon told Utterson, I was sitting alone at home when a messenger brought a letter. It was from Henry Jekyll. Dear Hasty, I beg you to help me. Upon receipt of this letter, proceed directly to the laboratory at my house. Remove the top drawer of the desk and carry it back to your home. At midnight, a man will come to collect it. Give it to him and ask no questions. Please, Lanyon, do as I ask. My life depends on it. Your friend, Henry. What? A strange request, Utterson said. I'll say. Did you carry it out? How could I not? Lanyon replied. I took a carriage straight to Henry's house, where Poole let me into the laboratory. The room was in a terrible state, Utterson. There were test tubes smashed across the floor, powders and potions spilled out over the desks, and notebooks scribbled with results of failed experiments. More and more I feared that Henry Jekyll had lost his mind. But you found the drawer mentioned in his letter? Utterson asked. I did. It contained several jars of powder that looked like salt, but smelled unlike anything I've ever known. One sniff of the foul chemicals made me dizzy. Did you bring the drawer back here, as Henry asked? I wish I had not, Utterson, for what happened next has left me a broken man. Go on, said Utterson. This was obviously a secret matter, Lanyon said, so I sent my servants to bed and awaited the arrival of Henry's mysterious visitor. The chimes at midnight had barely struck when there came a fierce knock on my door. A dwarfish figure stood silhouetted in the porch light. He seemed agitated and unable to stand still. Have you got it? The man snarled. Won't you come inside first? I asked. The man. The man shuffled into the light. Utterson, he was a repugnant figure. He kept grinding his teeth and muttering furiously to himself. Utterson pulled his chair even closer to Lanyon's bed. This man, he said. It does sound like Edward Hyde. That was my fear too, replied Lanyon. I wished then that I had not invited the ghastly individual into my house. What did you do next? Utterson asked. He grew angry, Utterson. Where is it? He growled. Where is the drawer? Tell me. Compose yourself, sir, I told him. The drawer is over there. The man sprang at it with ferocious relish. A hideous grin spread across his face as he opened one of the jars of powder. Yes, yes, he said, hissing the word like a snake. Now, give me a glass of water. Scary. You gave it to him? Utterson asked. I'm not ashamed to say that I was scared, Utterson. I simply wanted the man gone. So I fetched him the water and he poured the powder into the glass. The mixture frothed and bubbled. Vile-smelling fumes swirled into the air. Another evil smile spread across the man's face. And now, Hyde said, I suggest you leave. Gosh. Not a chance, I told the man, acting far calmer than I felt. I have gone too far in this not to see it to the end. The man grew angry, but he couldn't wait. He drank the revolting potion in one gulp. I have never seen anything like it. His face twisted with pain. His eyes rolled back in his head. With a blood-curdling scream, he collapsed on the floor and curled up moaning. Finally he rose, careful to keep his back to me, so I couldn't see his face. He seemed taller somehow, less agitated. Are you well? I asked. Suddenly he turned and barged past me to the door, but before he escaped into the night, I caught a glimpse of the man's face in the porch light. Lanyon scrunched his eyes shut, haunted by the memory. What did you see? Utterson said. What I saw, Utterson, was the face of Henry Jekyll. Chapter 8. The Last Night. What is going on, little bears? Okay. Let's do it. The last night. Wind lashed at Utterson's face as he ran full pelt through the streets. Terrible thoughts raced through his mind. Could Lanyon's tale be true? Could Henry Jekyll and Edward Hyde really be the same person? No, he refused to believe it. Suddenly Lanyon had lost his mind. Surely Lanyon had lost his mind as well. But he had to find out. He reached Henry's house and hammered on the door. Poole answered. A candle trembled in the butler's hand. His face was ghostly pale. Mr. Utterson, he gasped. I'm so glad that you are here. I am fear that my master has been murdered. Tingling with fear, Utterson followed Poole into the house. He saw Jekyll's other servants cowering together by the fire. Something diabolical had indeed happened here. More than ever, Utterson was determined to get to the bottom of it. Raising his shaky light, Poole led Utterson to Jekyll's laboratory. The door was locked, but Utterson heard someone moving inside. "You saw Dr. Jekyll go into this room?" he asked Poole. "As clear as day, sir," the butler replied, "but soon after I heard a piercing scream and the sound of smashing glass. Ever since, the door has been locked." "Jekyll!" Utterson called, banging on the door. "I demand to see you." "Go away," came the reply. "Please, Utterson, just go away." Utterson felt a shiver of terror. That wasn't Jekyll's voice. It was Hyde. "Stand back, Poole," Utterson demanded. "I'm going to smash my way in." Poole stepped back as the lawyer launched forward, smashing the laboratory door with his shoulder. Once, twice, 3 times. With each thunderous blow, the men heard another desperate cry from inside. "Please, Utterson, have mercy!" Door crashed open, and Utterson burst inside, his walking cane raised, ready to strike, but there was no need for a weapon. Lying on the floor in a twisted heap was the body of Edward Hyde. A bottle of red liquid rolled from the murderer's lifeless hand. "Poison," Utterson said. "The fiend took his own life." "Look, sir," Poole said, examining a sheet of paper on the desk. "A note from Dr. Jekyll. It's addressed to you." Utterson read the first line. Oh, you can't see it. "The Confession of Henry Jekyll." Utterson stared at the body on the floor. Was Lanyon telling the truth? Could this man be his friend Henry too? The letter trembled in his hand as he began to read. Chapter 9. The Confession of Henry Jekyll. "My dear Utterson, now that my life reaches its end, the time has come to tell you everything about Henry Jekyll and Edward Hyde. Of me you already know much. I strive to be a kind man and a good doctor, but more and more I grew troubled by the bad things I witnessed in my work, the damage that people were doing to each other. I became convinced that all men were not truly one, but truly two, good and evil. I was determined to find a way to separate the two characters. At night, I experimented with chemicals, creating a potion that I hoped would rid a person of his capacity for evil. One night, I drank it. You have seen for yourself how the poison affected my body, Utterson, but you have not felt the indescribable pain. I felt a grinding in my bones, a sickness in my stomach. A terrible change came over me. When I finally looked in the mirror, it wasn't Henry Jekyll that I saw, but a hideous, grinning stranger. The man told me his name was Edward Hyde. I knew that Hyde was pure evil, so I quickly drank more of the potion, and again I became Henry Jekyll. It should have ended there, but I became fascinated with my creation. I drank the potion regularly, and I am ashamed to say that I welcomed it. At night, I stalked the streets as Edward Hyde. I felt alive, Utterson. I felt truly alive. But gradually, Hyde began to take control of me. I began to change into him without even taking the potion. Fearing he would consume me completely, I had you write that will, leaving everything I owned to Hyde. I even bought him his own house. Hyde's evil grew worse and worse. He barged into men, cursed at young women, and trampled that little girl in the street. I knew I should put an end to it, but it was if I was addicted to the dark side of human nature. Then, one night, Hyde went too far and killed a man. Suddenly, all of London was hunting for Hyde. I began to take double and triple doses of the potion to stop myself from becoming him. I knew it might kill me, but I was desperate. For 3 months it succeeded. As you will remember, Utterson, I became a new man and I was happy again. But it was not to last. One morning, as I walked in the park, I was racked by the pains of change. Moments later, I was Hyde again. Hyde knew that he would be put in jail if he was caught. So he turned to Lanyon to help secure the powder from my house. I'm sure the doctor has told you what happened next. And that has led you now to my house. But it is too late to save me. I have run out of the powder that stops me becoming Edward Hyde. Soon Hyde will take control of me forever. Before that can happen, I'm going away. I have created a monster, and now I must slay it. Yes, I feel him stirring inside me even now. Goodbye, Utterson. You were a true friend. Dr. Henry Jekyll. Sir? Poole said. Utterson flinched, crumpling the letter in his hands. He had been so lost in Jekyll's confession that he'd forgotten where he was. He turned, gazing at the monster Edward Hyde lying dead on the floor. The letter Utterson held would destroy Henry's reputation. What had he once said? Help me, Utterson, if not as my lawyer, then as my friend. Utterson stepped to the fire and tossed Henry's confession into the flames. Sparks crackled up the chimney as shadows danced and darted up the laboratory walls. What about Dr. Henry Jekyll, sir? Poole said. Henry Jekyll is gone, Poole, Utterson said. He will never be seen again. Then the lawyer turned and walked out into the night. The end. Wow, what a story. Guys, well done. Well done, everybody. We got there. Goodness me, Herr Percy, that was scary. Wow, so Dr. Henry Jekyll had created a potion that brought out the good and the evil, and he was trying to get rid of the evil, but it all went wrong, and he became Edward Hyde. Oh, wow, what a story. Really creepy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that one, little bears. For the next one, we'll read something a little bit fluffier and a little bit happier. But that was The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Well, I'm going to go and have a drink and, have a sit down. I hope you enjoy Little Bears. I love you very much. Bye for now.